Welcome to the Stephen Edisis Show. I'm Stephen Edisis, and as the CEO of a company who's provided over 14,000 unique business owners capital, I know a lot about expensive business mistakes. Let me tell you a story about one of the most expensive mistakes in modern business history. A mistake so costly, it helped take down a retail giant that at the peak was worth around $12 billion. This isn't a story about bad toys. It's not a story about a weak brand. It's not even a story about a villainous company destroying another. It's a story about something way more dangerous: giving up control of the customer. Because once you hand someone else the relationship, you don't just lose a channel, you lose your leverage, you lose your pricing power, and eventually, if you're not careful, you'll lose your future. Today, we're going to break down how Amazon took over the toy market and how Toys R Us unknowingly helped train Amazon to replace them. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, investor, or an executive, this episode applies directly to you, because versions of this same trap, they're happening every day with platforms, marketplace, distributors, and even strategic partners. Let's get into it. As the turn of the millennium, Toys R Us, they were untouchable. They weren't just a toy store, they were the toy store. They had a huge physical footprint and deep vendor relationships. They spent decades building massive brand trust with parents. They established themselves as an authority in a niche retail category, an authority that felt permanent. But in business, permanence is a myth, because dominance in one era doesn't guarantee dominance in the next. In hindsight, the next era was obvious. But if I had to sum up the key oversight that led to the downfall of Toys R Us, in one sentence, it's going to be this: Toys R Us failed to foresee the rise of e-commerce. Toys R Us didn't fully grasp how fast consumer behavior would shift online. Instead of building a world-class digital engine in-house, they made a decision that looked smart short-term, but was fatal long-term. They partnered with a rising tech company. They partnered with Amazon. Here's what happened. In August 2000, Toys R Us and Amazon signed a major e-commerce partnership. Under the agreement, Toys R Us via toysrus.com would be the exclusive authorized seller in key categories on Amazon's platform through 2010. This included toys, games, and baby products. Amazon would handle the back end. That's the technology, fulfillment, logistics, and customer service, as well as shipping. On paper, it looked perfect. Toys R Us brought the brand and the relationship, and Amazon brought the infrastructure. And to be clear, there was a reason Toys R Us was willing to do this. According to reporting on the partnership, their own website had major fulfillment problems during the 1999 holiday season, which damaged trust and performance. The partnership was a way to avoid repeating that nightmare. So at the time, it felt like strategy, but there's a hidden cost. They outsourced the customer relationship. And in business, whoever owns the customer owns the future, because the customer relationship is not a detail, it's the entire game. Now, this is where founders need to lock in. Because Amazon was never just helping Toys R Us sell toys online. Amazon was buying something far more valuable than toy sales. They were buying the customer data and behavior. They were learning what parents buy and when, what price points convert, what brands drive repeat purchases, what seasonal demand patterns look like, what products get bundled together, and what inventory issues create churn. That's not logistics, that's the entire playbook. And this is why I tell people, in a platform relationship, the platform is always learning from you. Your product becomes their research, your customers become their database, and your category becomes their blueprint. And according to Toys R Us, Amazon wasn't just learning. They were also violating the spirit and the terms of the exclusive arrangement by allowing other sellers into those categories. Toys R Us publicly stated in 2004 that thousands of products in exclusive categories were being offered by competitive retailers on Amazon's platform. So now Toys R Us is in the worst possible position. They gave Amazon the channel, they trained their customers to shop there, and now they have to compete inside the arena that they helped build. That is a business nightmare. And by May 2004, Toys R Us had sued Amazon to protect its exclusivity rights. Amazon's defense, by the way, wasn't just, we didn't do it. Amazon had argued that Toys R Us had issues keeping items in stock, so Amazon framed it as a performance problem too. So what happened in court? In 2006, a New Jersey trial court found Amazon breached the agreement in ways that justified ending their partnership. But the judge did not award damages at that time. Later, in 2009, after an appeals court ruling kept Amazon on the losing side, Amazon agreed to pay $51 million to settle the dispute. But here's the point that matters for this episode. Even with the settlement, they lost something far more valuable than money. They lost time. While lawyers were arguing, Amazon was building. Amazon was scaling fulfillment. Amazon was training customer behavior. Amazon was becoming the default. Toys R Us was fighting a contract battle with Amazon, while Amazon was winning a market war. And that right there is one of the most brutal truths in business. Court outcomes don't restore lost momentum. Now, to be fully accurate and to make the lesson even more powerful, we need to zoom out. Amazon didn't single-handedly kill Toys R Us. The Amazon partnership was a major strategic miscalculation. But Toys R Us also got hit by a massive force: debt. In 2005, Toys R Us agreed to be acquired by a major investment firm, KKR, Bain Capital, and Verando, in a $6.6 billion transaction. And the years after this leveraged buyout, financial reporting noted that Toys R Us was making roughly $400 million a year in interest payments alone. Money that could have gotten into store upgrades, digital transformation, or innovation. So you've got a company that missed the early e-commerce wave, handed its online channel to Amazon, then got financially constrained by heavy debt. That combination is deadly, because you can't pivot aggressively when your cash flow is chained to debt service. And by 2017, the pressure snapped. Toys R Us had filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy on September 18th, 2017. Then, in March 2018, they sought court approval to begin winding down their U.S. businesses and liquidating inventory in U.S. stores. And yes, operations essentially shut down through that liquidation process. Meanwhile, Amazon kept growing into a mega empire. As of early January 2026, Amazon market cap has been reported around $2.6 trillion. And now, Amazon sells everything to everyone, including toys. So what's the lesson? The story was never just about toys. It was about control of the customer relationship. Toys R Us gave away the digital customer touchpoint, the behavioral data, the default shopping habit, and the future learning curve. And Amazon did what Amazon does. They learned faster, they scaled harder, they optimized relentlessly. Not because they were evil, but because they were incentivized. And that's the part founders miss. Your partner is still a business. If their incentives shift, your agreement becomes optional in practice, even if it's mandatory on paper. Now I'm going to bring this into 2026 reality. The same mistake is happening every day. Whenever you build your business entirely on a marketplace, a social platform, a referral partner, a distributor that owns a relationship, or a platform that controls your access to buyers, you might feel like you're growing, but if you don't own the customer, you're just renting demand. And rent always goes up. Algorithms change, fees increase, and competition gets injected into your listings. Your reach gets throttled up or down, and suddenly you're paying more for the same customer you used to get for free. So here's the rule. If you don't own the relationship, the data, and the distribution, you don't fully own the business. You're operating on borrowed ground. So in conclusion, what started as a friendly partnership turned into one of the most expensive miscalculations in retail history, a decision that helped reshape an entire category. And here's what I want you to remember. In business, convenience feels good, but control is what keeps you alive. If this episode made you think differently about partnerships, platforms, and leverage, subscribe to The Steve Edisis Show. Share it with a founder who needs to hear it, and drop a comment with the platform that you think is the most dangerous to depend on right now. I'll see you on the next episode of The Steve Edisis Show.